Hey, Jack, this is David Hood with TigerNet.com. First question would be, how does a guy from Acton, Boxborough, up in Massachusetts wind up as a walk-on the Clemson football team?
I mean, it's a long story. I narrowed during the college search process. I narrowed it down to four schools, and obviously Clemson was one. I have a unique, cool fact that my uncle's a professor here, so that's how I learned of Clemson. Got to come down here, and while I was down visiting, got to come to Coach Sweeney's camps, and I just had the fluke talent of long snapping. And that caught their eye. And as I came back to camp for 2 years, they later gave me the opportunity to be a preferred walk-on. So it's a cool story, and glad I came to camp.
You've obviously, you've got national championship rings, you've got ACC championship rings. You had that fumble recovery at NC State last year. What's your biggest moment that you can remember or that stands out to you in your career here?
Absolutely. Obviously, winning a national championship. Coming down here, I knew that was a possibility, but never in my wildest dreams did I think that would come true. So as a team, that would definitely be number one. But as an individual, as a long snapper, you cherish any opportunity you get to recover a fumble. And luckily, I think it might have been the easiest fumble recovery in football history, where it just popped right in my lap. So I was obviously glad that happened as well. So I would put that up there. In top memories.
Did you have an idea that a scholarship offer was coming? Did you know? Did you obviously you wanted one, but did you have any idea that one was on the way?
To answer your question, I mean, when I got here, I never came to Clemson and played Division I college football for a scholarship. I wanted to play because it was a long-time dream of mine. If I had the opportunity to earn one, that would just kind of be the cherry on top. I knew that, coming in this season, it was, I was trying to be the guy. I wanted to be the starter after being here for 3 years. Did I expect to be put on scholarship before season? I mean, no, it was obviously a pleasant surprise. But, knowing that I've worked hard for 3 years and, like I said, really put the work in, it was definitely a pleasant surprise.
How did you find out about it? How did you find out about the scholarship that you were going to get? And, kind of what was your first reaction to it?
How I found out, I was going to the Castle, the Applied Sports Science Lab, to go take a nap before an afternoon practice. And Coach Sweeney was walking behind me. He was asking me where I was going. I said, I'm going to go take a nap. And he just kept following me. I didn't make too much of it. And then, we got to the room. It was in front of the Castle staff, and he asked me if I paid for school yet. I said I believe so, and he said, well, I'll have a little bit more change in my pocket now because I don't have to worry about it for at least this semester. So it was a pretty cool moment, and I'll never forget.
Who was the first person, or who was the first people that you called to tell them?
Yeah, I called my mom first, and she didn't pick up the phone. So I let her know that she was definitely the first one I called, but like I said, she didn't pick up. So I called my grandmother up in Nashville, and she was obviously through the roof. Mom picked up later. So and then I called a close family immediately after, but I didn't tell too many people right after. I just let the news diffuse out on its own.
Do you have any goals for this season? Obviously you're going to have a chance to play now. What are some of your personal goals, and what are your thoughts on this team? You've been around this program for a long time.
Oh yeah, definitely. As for myself, in terms of goals, obviously I'm in a new role. I'm playing a lot more. Luckily, last year I got some good game experience of playing 20 plus snaps as a backup long snapper. So I have that to go off of. It's a different animal. It's kind of, it's corny, but it's one snap at a time. I put the work in. I know from a confidence basis I'm ready. So I'm looking forward to just, doing my job. It's as simple as that. As for a team, obviously I've been lucky enough to be a part of some really great teams here. And, with all the COVID stuff and not being around each other nearly as much throughout the year, this team has a unique chemistry that is I haven't seen that which is awesome. Even though we haven't spent as much time together, it really didn't matter. we really come together. We're going to do some damage this year, I think.
Do you snap for both field goal and punt?
One more time.
Do you snap for both field goal and punt?
I do, yes, sir.
Any other questions for Jack?
Yeah. Hey, Jack. This is Chris Hall with allclemson.com. Pretty talented freshman class we got coming in this year. Anybody stood out to you so far in particular?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, every year it just seems we're just bringing in a bunch of freaks, which is awesome just to be a part of. Guys that have caught my eye, I mean, obviously from a size aspect, you got Miles Murphy and Brian Barisi, who are just, I mean, it makes, they're 18-year-olds and they make me as a 21-year-old feel inferior. And then guys like Malcolm Green, who is just kind of like a born leader. We got Walker Parks on the line, who's going to be a great star on this team in the future. So there's a lot of guys to catch their eye, and they're all doing a great job.
Hey, Jack. Scott Kiefer with the Greenville News. Clemson has proposed that they would like to have approximately 19,000 fans in Memorial Stadium. At some schools that may be pretty good, but not at Clemson. What are your feelings about playing in front of, I guess for Clemson standards, such a small group?
Yeah, I just learned that news walking up here. Obviously, that's great news. I mean, I kind of went into the season expecting, hopefully my mom can come down. But, having the ability to have 19,000 people there is awesome. I mean, we'll take as much as we can get. But this team knows that, the environment's going to be different. But the game doesn't change. And, we prepare like we're just preparing like we always do. There's only one way to prepare for football. That's just the traditional way. So, I mean, obviously great news that we get to play in front of some people, and we're excited for that. But, it's business as usual.
One more question for you. Coach Sweeney spoke the other day and said that the team had a pretty lengthy discussion about the Jacob Blake shooting in Wisconsin. And, other than maybe this has to stop, what were some of the general thoughts or ideas shared when the team discussed it?
Absolutely. We did have a really in-depth conversation, obviously, with the horrifying incidents that happened in Wisconsin. There's a lot that can be said, but what Coach Sweeney really harped on and what his program's all about, and everybody appreciates this, everybody knows this, that comes through here. You're truly empowered to do whatever you want in life, to know and believe that you can be whatever you need in life. And that, there's always going to be bad out there. There's going to be bad people. But, I go back to the coffee bean analogy, and, through how you believe in any kind of situation with how crazy and this world is, you can be the change. You can empower other people and through yourself just to be, the change that this world needs. And that's what our team really talked about and really bought into. So it was obviously a great conversation. We hope to continue the change.